Hello, my name is Nathan, and I'm going to show you the solar system. Let's begin. First, let's talk about your sun. It also can be called Sol. 1.3 million Earths can fit inside it. It's so big that 1.3 million Earths can fit inside of it. It's 109 times wider than our Earth. It's a burning ball of plasma. It's pretty hard to miss him. And its center can rise up to 30 million degrees, or 12 million degrees Celsius. Let's move on to our first planet, Mercury. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. Its year is only 80-year Earth days, slightly larger than our moon. It's moonless and which means it has no moons. It orbits at a distance around 36 million miles from our solar capital, our sun. The sun's rays are so powerful on Mercury because it's so close to the sun. It can be really hot. Temperatures at day at 800 degrees to minus 300 at night. That's a very sudden weather change. The weather change is 1,100 degrees at most of the times. The temperature changes at about 100 degrees every hour. Next planet, Venus. It's the brightest and hottest planet in our solar system. It's about the same size as Earth and has about the same amount of gravity. You can see it up in the night sky. It looks like a bright star. It's the second brightest object in the sky. The only thing brighter in the sky you can see is the moon. It's Earth's sister planet, and it's moonless, just like Mercury. No moons at all. Scientists haven't discovered the moons, but they send the space probe there. The theory is that there's no 1% accurate, that scientists have sent a space probe to Venus, but it only lasted there for 2 hours before the heat damaged its instruments. Temperatures on Venus could be almost 1,000 degrees. Temperatures at 950 degrees Fahrenheit or 290 degrees Celsius. Let's move on to the Goldilocks planet. This Goldilocks planet is Earth. Earth is lovely. It's the 5th largest planet in our solar system. You can fit 1,321 Earths inside Jupiter, 63 in Uranus, 57.7 in Neptune, and 736 in Saturn. And let's move on to the double moon planet, Mars. It has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos. They are really tiny. How tiny? Well, compared to our moon, pretty tiny. One is even smaller than Mount Everest. Deimos is even smaller than Mount Everest. Phobos is bigger, probably 2 times bigger than Mount Everest. Earth has 7 continents: North and South America, Eurasia, Africa, Antarctica, and Australia. Eurasia is its biggest landmass. It has 1 moon that takes 27 days to orbit. That means go around our Earth. Let's move on to the double moon planet, Mars. One moon is even smaller than Mount Everest. Deimos is smaller than Mount Everest, 8 kilometers or 4 miles wide. Phobos is 25 kilometers or 15 miles wide. Mars is only half the size of the Earth. It has red dust and it has the highest and deepest valley in the solar system. The highest mountain in the solar system is called Olympus Mons. It's three times bigger than Mount Everest. 3 times taller than Mount Everest. Scientists have discovered a new mountain on Earth, tallest mountain on Earth, called Mauna Kea. I don't know how tall Mauna Kea is, but it's taller than Mount Everest. It's more than 35,000 feet tall. 35,000 feet above sea level. So, which makes Mars' super mountain around 2.6 times taller than Mauna Kea. And then let's cross the belt of asteroids. And Jupiter, the biggest planet. It's humongous. Man, it's gigantic. 1,321 Earths could fit inside of it. It's 2 times bigger than every planet. It has a great red spot from storm skies. It was spotted by astronomers in 1665. Its biggest phase was 4 Earths could fit inside it. But the thing is, the phase never goes down below 2 Earths large. Now let's move on to Io, a moon of Jupiter. Jupiter's size is 69,911 kilometers. Io is one of the largest moons that orbit closest to Jupiter. It is the third biggest of the 4 biggest moons. It's slightly bigger than our Earth. It is 2,010 kilometers in radius. It's the 4th largest. Io is the 4th largest moon in the solar system. Europa is the smallest of Jupiter's 4 largest moons. It has cracks on its surface ice. There is an ocean under it. It has many cliffs of ice. It is the 6th largest in the solar system, and it's the smallest of Jupiter's 4 largest moons. Ganymede. It is the largest moon in the solar system. It is Jupiter's largest moon, nearly 2 times bigger than our own moon. It has more water than Earth. Its water starts right under it, right from its crust, all the way down to its outer core. And last but not least, moon of Jupiter, which is called Callisto. It's the 2nd largest moon of Jupiter and 3rd largest in the solar system. Callisto is the farthest biggest moon that orbits Jupiter. And then let's move on to Saturn. The ring planet, Saturn. It's made of a ball of hydrogen and helium. You can fit over 730 Earths inside it, if it were a big jar. And it's pretty big. with a diameter of 72,600 miles. It's 9.4 times farther than our Earth, and it is 9 times wider than Earth. And let's get to the most interesting part. The rings. It has been created by its most icy moon, Enceladus. It's its second smallest moon. But this moon is super. It makes these beautiful rings around Saturn. I didn't put Enceladus here because it's too small. Second smallest moon of Saturn. It's the 61st biggest moon of Saturn. And it even has even smaller moonlets. But instead, Saturn has over 150 moons and even smaller moonlets. And these rings were created by God, and the water under its ice cracks through the surface and makes shooting geysers out of it. Since it's pretty close to Saturn, some of the ice falls on its surface, but some of it flies off into space and make Saturn's rings. So these rings were created by its ice moon Enceladus. Titan. It's a moon of Saturn. It is larger than Mercury and 2.3 times larger than Pluto. It is the most popular moon of Saturn. We do not mean people live on it. It has methane lakes. It has lakes, a surface, except its atmosphere is it's the only moon that has atmosphere. And its atmosphere is poisonous to breathe. It could be another Earth. Only if its atmosphere was not poisonous. It's the second largest moon in the solar system. It orbits around Saturn around less or more than 400,000 kilometers. It orbits slightly more than 400,000 kilometers from the planet. Next planet, Uranus. It rotates on its side like a bowling ball. It has faint rings that go up and down. And it has 2 largest moons, but we'll get to that later. Uranus has storms, but there's a storm that has been discovered right back here. Its North Pole is here and its South Pole is here. So its North Pole is facing towards the sun. It has a tilt angle of 98.1. Long ago, it wasn't tilted, but then a planet bumped into Uranus, tilting it over. A day on Uranus is 17.3 hours. And let's go to the moons now. Titania. It's the largest moon of Uranus. It is less than half the size of our moon. It is only 1,556 kilometers or 956 miles in diameter. Moon is 3,479 kilometers or 2,150 miles. Oberon is another frozen moon of Uranus. It is 1,498 kilometers or 941 miles. It has temperatures at negative 375 degrees Celsius or negative 225 degrees Celsius. Negative 375 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 225 degrees Celsius. Did I say that Celsius? Next planet coming up, Neptune. Neptune is the eighth final planet from our star. Temperature is at negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 189 degrees Celsius. It has a great dark spot right there from stormy skies. And there's the storm called Scooter, and there is its small dark spot. It has a lot of storms, gusting up to 1,500 miles per hour, or 2,400 kilometers per hour. And Triton. Triton, it's a frozen moon of Neptune. Coldest temperature, negative 289 degrees Celsius, or negative 410 degrees Fahrenheit. Or the temperature in the center of Neptune could be probably 30,000 degrees Fahrenheit, nearly 3 times hotter than the surface of the sun. It's very hot and very cold on this planet. It has a tilt angle of 29.9. And let's move on to the last planet, Pluto. Pluto. It's discovered in 1930. It was a planet from 1930 to 1996. It was a planet for only 66 years. Now it's called a dwarf planet. The discovery, how small it was, and they call it a dwarf planet. Charon. It is a moon of Pluto. It is a Pluto-Charon double system. A double system is when a moon is bigger than half the size of a planet. Example of double system. The distance between Pluto and Charon is 19,460 kilometers or 12,100 miles, which is less than one Earth can fit between it. If you try to fit one Earth, it won't fit between it. You can fit about 30 Plutos inside Earth or more. 35 or more Plutos can fit inside our Earth. So, it is the farthest planet from the sun. And bye-bye now. It's the end. The end. But it's not actually not the end yet. Let's talk about the asteroid belt. It divides the solar system between Mars and Jupiter. Mars and Jupiter. Between Mars and Jupiter. It's a big, large band of asteroids. Most comets start from there and usually go towards the sun. But don't worry, a big one cannot hit our Earth soon, or can it? A comet called Shoemaker Levy 9 crashed into Jupiter. It was a very big crash that could be seen from Earth with a telescope. And this is the end of our story. Thank you for watching.